Hello and good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We're worldwide. My name is Travis. This is Oscar Mike Radio, number 211, 211. It's just going by quick. And I'm pleased to be joined by the part 4, last but not least, Jesse Hawe of Knoxville, Tennessee, Irreverent Warriors hike coordinator. Jesse, welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
What's going on, guys?
How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Sorry, I'm kind of walking around right now. I'm just trying to find a quiet spot.
Well, yes, that's life's challenges, especially with teenagers or when you're just out and about. We kind of met briefly, man, at the Nashville hike a couple of weeks ago, and you're doing the Knoxville hike. And what I've done is, I met Andrew last year and talked about his hike last year, but I've done every Tennessee hike for 2020, and Knoxville is just by way of date the last one, but it's a pretty cool place, and so I kind of wanted to learn about you, about Knoxville, about the hike.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had originally Knoxville was actually slated to be the first hike of Tennessee pre-COVID. Our original hike date was May 22nd, and as everything started unfolding, we had to cancel the hike and put a new date of October 17th. And so we've been working at this literally all year long, getting this hike planned and set up for everybody. And, it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody. I mean, the volunteers I have working on this has been working tirelessly on making this just a great experience for everybody, and I hope I'm kind of putting my level up high. I hope it's the best hike in Tennessee.
Well, I have no doubt of that. So a little bit about you. You have to be a veteran to march in the hike. What did you do in the military before you got out?
Well, I was in the Marines from 98 to 2002. I was a motor T attached with artillery. I served over at Camp Lejeune at North Carolina. And I was in the first unit into Afghanistan after September 11th.
Oh, wow. So I served in the Marine Corps, and you still had the 5 tons then, right? Because that's what I drove.
Yes. So what was kind of crazy about my experiences, the first 2 years I was in the Marines, I was an ambulance operator. I was basically like a commercial ambulance driver for the Marines. So for the first 2 years in the Marines, I drove ambulances. I was required to do everything that, your EMTs were required to do. And after about 2 years of doing that in the Marines, I was like, I just didn't join the Marines to be an ambulance driver. I wanted to get more experience out of it. And so I volunteered to get out of the unit, and I got plugged into the ARTI unit, which was getting ready to go on a pump, a 6-month pump overseas with the 26 Mu. That's pre-September 11th. And so we had done all of our training, all of our workups. We were actually, our secondary mission was embassy reinforcement. So while we were overseas, if an embassy got attacked, we were their backup. And so I got to do all the cool high-speed, low-drag kind of training with that, all the experiences that I always wanted. And then, as we all know, September 11th happened, and we got shipped out September 19th.
That was quick. Now, just real quick to clarify, did you drive the Marine Corps Humvee ambulance or a real like ambulance?
Real commercial ambulance. I drove just like the ones you see out on the road. Once I got done doing that, I was basically a 5-ton operator or a Humvee operator. I had my license in almost every vehicle. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Okay. Actually had my license. I was one of the first guys in my in my unit to have their 7-ton license as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's kind of weird, just, and then we'll move on to something else. When I was in my MOS, we pulled our own gear to the field. So we drove our own gear to the field. And I had guys in artillery telling me that the motor T guys drove their cannons out to the field and they just emplaced them. I'm like, nope, we pulled I had my own 5-ton. I had to, service it, get it ready to go, make sure it was fueled up, the whole 9 yards. So I heard the 7-ton was a huge improvement over what we drove.
Yeah, it was like a big Oshkosh truck. I mean, it was all push button, had run flats in it. I mean, it was definitely, the 5-tons. We actually got those from the Army.
Right.
They were the vehicles in the 70s, and so if a lot of times if you looked at the issue date on the 5-tons, it said issued to the Army on such and such date in the 70s, and that's what we were using back in like 2001.
Right. So you're doing this, and in about a week and a couple of days, you go from being in Lejeune to Afghanistan, and people don't understand that's just how quickly Marines can deploy worldwide. What's that like, going from point A to point B like that? Because a lot of deployments take 6 months just to spool up, and you guys did it in a little over a week.
Well, I mean, we were scheduled to go overseas anyways. We were on the attachment to go overseas, so, I mean, we had done about 6 months of workups. But, we weren't scheduled to leave, when September 11th happened. Everybody was kind of on block leave. We were getting ready to go, but everybody got recalled off of block leave. And we were actually supposed to go up to New York City with our 5-tons. We were all the motor T operators was issued like 100 body bags. We were going to put all the people that passed away from the World Trade Centers in the back of our trucks. And so I'm really glad I didn't get to do that. Instead, we just hopped on board the ship September 19th. And, when the ships go overseas, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of times when our ships go across the pond, they kind of go into a zigzag information, or formation, I should say. But we went straight across, and that indicates an attack mode overseas.
So you do that, and you spent some time in Afghanistan. You spent like 2 years in Afghanistan, or just 6 months?
No, we were only in, my unit specifically was only in Afghanistan for about 2 months.
So you were one of the first ones there. You set up and you do that, and you come back. What was it like coming back and getting back into the U.S. after going so fast?
I mean, it's kind of like a shell shock a little bit.
Yeah.
You just you go over, you anticipate everything that could happen in that type of theater, war, that type of stuff. You build yourself up for all that experience, and then when you get through it, you just kind of you come back, and I mean, it's a big weight off your shoulders, but it really is, but isn't, because you just don't really know what to do next,
Right. So you do your time, and you get out, and then did you grow up in the Knoxville area? Did you grow up? Are you a Tennessee native, or did you?
So I grew up upstate New York, and I got hooked up with a company that does paintless dent repair. I fix dents in cars, and they one of their job requirements was I had to be able to move. So I moved from North Carolina to Knoxville, Tennessee. Had no ties in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I've worked pretty much in Knoxville ever since I got out in 2000. Been here in Knoxville since 2003.
Okay, so for a while, but still not home. So you're getting out. You're having to adjust to a new career and being in a new place. What was that like? Because for a lot of people who get out and moving to a new place that's not home, it can be very daunting.
Yeah, when I think because in the Marines, a lot of guys may experience this. It seemed like we bounced around a lot. We went from boot camp, we went to, combat training, then we went to our MOS school, and then finally after all that we got stationed, our duty station. And so it always felt like I was kind of bouncing around a little everywhere. So, when I got out, moving to Knoxville was a pretty easy thing for me. I could really go anywhere at that point in my life. I didn't have kids. I was married, and so, I'm a pretty personable guy.
I know.
I can make friends pretty easily. I'm a really outgoing guy. I like to have a good time wherever I'm at.
And folks, see, when we hiked together in Nashville, I knew who he was within 30 seconds, and we were like best buds 5 minutes later. It was great.
Yeah. Man, I like to have a good time. If we're not having fun, then there's no sense in it.
So you're establishing your base. You're in Knoxville. You're working. When did Irreverent Warriors start becoming part of your life, and how did that happen?
So probably in the last 5 years. I'd say 5 or 6 years. I've had a lot of close friends that I served with in Afghanistan and back in my artillery battery. I've had a lot of friends that have committed suicide. Two really close friends that I was close to, and I always felt afterwards that I wish I had done more. I wish I had called her more. I almost felt a little guilty for not reaching out enough. And so, I started looking into many different organizations. I got really involved with Team RWB, Red, White, and Blue. And then through that, I found Irreverent Warriors. It's kind of funny. Once you like one certain nonprofit, a bunch start popping up in your newsfeed on Facebook. And so I saw like an article about it. I think I saw something about the Nashville hike. Everybody walking around in their silkies. I was like, man, I got to be a part of that. I was like, it felt home for me.
Right.
And so, but the bigger thing for me outside of that is, I was living my day-to-day life. I'm married. I got 4 kids. I run a successful business, and I would consider myself a real lucky guy, but there was a really blessed person, and for some reason I just got this feeling inside that there was something missing. There was something more missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And for me, what it was is when I went out to like my first Silkies hike, and when I first got out there, got back involved in the veteran community, man, it struck me like a ton of bricks. It just hit me that this is what I needed to be. This is where I needed to do it, and help other people through this.
And you really feel that the Irreverent Warriors mission does that in many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really incredible. You go to this hike. It's 6, 7, 8, 9 miles long, however long it is. A lot of us, we come there as strangers. We do have a lot in common because we wore the uniform. We may not have ever met, but within, an hour or 2 hours, you get talking with people. You open up a little bit, and you share a few laughs. You share a few stories. And then you feel more connected to somebody on a more level than you do people outside of the veteran community. When you go to work every day, if you don't work around veterans, they just don't get it.
No.
But, the veteran, Andrew Farr said something really good. The best thing for a veteran is another veteran. And I mean, that's so true. It's helped me personally. It's helped, and I've helped a lot of people through it. I've had a lot of people contact me through this COVID time, reaching out to me, just needed someone to talk to about whatever they were dealing with, just somebody. And, I mean, these are people maybe I didn't even know, but they thought, hey, maybe I could call him, and that means a lot to me.
Well, that's good. That's good. So this is in Knoxville, and I've asked Bobby, I've asked Zach, I've asked Nick, and I'm going to ask you. Part of the fun of the hike is the city. It's kind of like the city gets a chance to kind of, sell itself, and each city in Tennessee is, different. It's so different that I thought we were doing this in Central Time. No, Tennessee's so long that it actually has multiple time zones. It was weird.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Knoxville and what it means to you, and how it's different than the other towns.
So Knoxville, even though it's not a huge city, it's not nearly the size of Nashville, but there's some really iconic things going on in Knoxville. It's one of the very first places that hosted the World's Fair Park back in the 80s. So when you go by Knoxville, or if you see pictures of Knoxville, you'll see a huge, it looks like a great big soccer or basketball. It's called the Sun Sphere. And there's only select cities back then that got to do it. They did this all over the world. Knoxville's one of those places. And then, Knoxville's also the home of the Tennessee Volunteers, football, SEC football. I know a lot of guys may be coming from other areas that,
LSU.
Florida fans, Alabama fans, whatever, Vanderbilt fans.
LSU.
But, that's another just to see that stadium that holds 100,000 people is incredible. We have this really cool old Tennessee theater. It's another one of those iconic theaters. There's not too many of them still in existence. Just really cool. I mean, we're going to be walking right by it. We're going to be going right over the waterfront in the Tennessee River. And man, it's going to be such a beautiful hike. We put a lot of thought and effort into planning the route of this. We're going to showcase downtown Knoxville.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be walking right by the National Veterans Cemetery in Knoxville. It's going to be a really great experience. The World's Fair Park holds the Veterans War Memorial, or memorial, I should say, and it's just a really fun town.
Awesome. So the hike is October 17th.
Yep.
And you're stepping off at 9 o'clock in the morning?
I'd say we're probably going to be pushing off around 9:30.
Okay.
I know registration starts between 8 or 9. We're going to have kind of a stagger registration process just to deal with all the COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So we need to kind of spread it out to kind of manage that. But so I'm hoping that we step off around 9:30. But by then, everybody should be there. Everybody should get there between 8 and 9.
Is there still time to sign up for your hike?
Absolutely. I encourage people to sign up now, like today, like get on there and sign up as soon as possible. For one, we have a deadline that you can purchase all your swag. That's for one. All the swag needs to be purchased by a certain date. Like, I think they cut it off like 2 weeks prior, which we're coming up on pretty quick. But the other thing is, it really helps us, hiking coordinators, let us know how many people we're going to need to feed breakfast, lunch, and dinner to. So we can give all these restaurants that we already have set up a head count, and so we can try to manage how much food to get and how much water to get, and stuff like that. So, you can sign up the day of, but, sign up if you can sign up as soon as possible.
So you're taking off. You've got, how many people do you have signed up so far? Because it's most of the hikes I've been told are averaging between 125 to upwards of 175 people, which is a lot considering the hassles with COVID.
Yeah. So the last I looked, which was about 2 weeks ago, we had 50 or 60 people pre-signed up. But
Nice.
as we get closer and closer, those numbers will start multiplying. We're expecting probably about 100 people. This is our first hike, first Knoxville hike, so we're still getting our feet wet. But we really need to encourage people to come out, support the hike, because if we make this a great hike this year, people are going to want to come next year and the year after, and then the movement becomes 100 to maybe 150 to 100, 200 people. And so, I mean, it's really important to make a good first impression and get as many hikers as we can out there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, speaking of support with the restaurants providing food and other things, who is, from a business standpoint, sponsoring or supporting the hike with, water or food or, logistical support?
So we got Next Level Brewery, which is a veteran-owned company. They are going to be helping us with the meet and greet. They're going to have a food truck out there. They're also going to be a part of one of our route stops. That's going to be really awesome. We're getting sponsored by Kenjo gas station, Marathon gas station, Pilot gas station,
Oh, wow.
Pilot Flying J. We've been sponsored by. We have the biggest country radio station, WIVK. They may be coming out. We have a news reporter with WVLT, Abby. I can't pronounce her last name, but she's great. She's helped us in the past. She's going to be coming out. We have a bunch of like Black Horse Brewery that's helping. We have, let me think, Wisconsin Metals, a company out of Wisconsin that is helping Knoxville, Tennessee, which is pretty cool because they have someone here that's going to be that is helping with our hike, and so they wanted to come out and sponsor. My company that I own is one of our sponsors, and it's we're really showcasing a lot of local companies.
Well, that's what I
Like
mean,
this.
right? I mean, this is a
What's that?
local thing. This is a Knoxville thing, a local thing. So
Yeah.
it must be exciting to see all that local engagement and support for what you're doing.
Yeah, we also have like this coffee and chocolate company. They're going to be providing breakfast. We're in talks with Sweet Peas Barbecue. I mean, they're famous for their barbecue. That's not set in stone, so I don't want to make any promises, but we are in talks with them. But I think Knoxville, like I said, I hope that, when people come to this hike, they're going to say that was the best hike of Tennessee. That's my goal. It's just a personal thing. I just want, everybody's ending impression of all the hikes to have Knoxville at their number one list.
Nice. Well, it's just exciting to see because each city in Tennessee is different. And, I've told every one of the coordinators, I've drove through Tennessee a couple times. And first of all, it's a long drive, one.
Yeah.
And two, the state really changes, not just a little bit like some states, but changes dramatically as you go from Memphis through Nashville into the eastern part. So it's exciting to see that Tennessee really came together and made this happen during all the challenges of COVID-19. And I wish nothing but success with getting this off the ground, man.
Man, one thing I want to mention to anybody that's going to watch this, if you're coming in from areas like Florida, check out the Allegiant Air flight. Man, you can get a round trip air ticket through Allegiant Air for like $125 right now. I mean, it's like $50-$60 one way. It's super cheap. And I mean, for all the guys down in Florida, and I mean, also just see if you have an Allegiant Air, see if they come to Knoxville, because I mean that's probably going to be your most inexpensive way to get here. But I encourage people to go ahead and plan ahead and get your hotel reservations now, because it is game day that day, and a lot of with the football going on, the rooms are going to get booked up fast. And so I encourage everybody to go ahead and get that hotel set up now.
Hotel, Airbnb, I mean,
yeah,
your camper. because, well, I mean, they believe in that football there, right? I mean, the Volunteers.
Oh man, I mean Knoxville, the Volunteers Neyland Stadium at one time was the biggest stadium. I mean, it holds like 102,000 fans. Like most of your NFL stadiums only hold about 50 or 60,000. And so, I mean, when you go into the stadium, I mean, it's just electrifying. It's so much noise. It's so crazy. I mean, it's amazing experience. But with that, all your hotels get booked up. I mean, parking becomes an issue.
Quickly, yeah.
Traffic
Oh.
is going to be a little bit busy. All that.
Well, this is very exciting. I mean, I really enjoy getting to talk with each one of the Tennessee coordinators, and I'm going to wrap it up with talking with Andrew Farr, who's the Tennessee State coordinator for Irreverent Warriors. But, first of all, it's amazing how you serve the military, you get out, and you come across this weird, crazy thing where there's people in silkies and, boots or shoes walking, having a good time, and how that's changed each one of your lives. So as we close this down, I think that's kind of what I want to close with. What has Irreverent Warriors done for you that makes you excited to do this now in the future, Jesse?
Man, it gives me hope that we're reaching people through this community that may need some help and may build those relationships with people that are struggling with whatever they're struggling with. That we're there for them. That's the biggest thing for me is to N22, the whole and help prevent veteran suicide. And if anybody ever needed to reach out to me, look me up on Facebook. I'm there.
Awesome. So folks, the hike is October 17th in Knoxville, Tennessee. Jesse Hawe, my guest, is the Knoxville coordinator. People can go to the website, right?
You can go. Yeah, reverentwarriors.com. Sorry, I keep on getting some phone calls. Reverentwarriors.com. Reverentwarriors.com is the easiest way. Just scroll down to October 17th. Click the link, and it will give you all the information. Also on Facebook, we're on Irreverent Warriors Knoxville. We have our own page. So that's another one way to find me, or just private message me individually. I can get you where you need to go.
Well, Jesse, I know folks are already looking forward to 2021 with Irreverent Warriors and the whole Tennessee crew getting going. I just want to thank you for your time, because I believe now more than ever, this kind of, engagement is not only, it's not a luxury anymore. It's a need.
Yeah.
So I got to see that in Nashville, and listen, folks. He's not just talking the talk here. When I got to hike with him for a little bit, the whole energy level came up. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
Man, getting out there with everybody, I'm so excited for. I want to give a real quick shout out to my co-coordinator Candy Bobick. And Andrew Farr has been a huge help with he's our Tennessee regional, and, just couldn't be more thankful to have such a great team.
Absolutely. Well, folks, you've heard it here first. You know what to do. Get on reverentwarriors.com, find the Knoxville hike, get signed up, get planned up. It's going to be a great time. I want to thank Jesse for coming on and talking with me. I want to thank all the Tennessee coordinators for taking their time to talk with me. And I hope for nothing but the best for you, my man.
And I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on. Enjoyed it.
Well, as we say at Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. Thank you so much.